So there's a lot of text, film text, Mexican films that deal with classism. And this could have been solely a text on that. It could have been a text that's miserableism, but there's considerable warmth and touches of humor in your film, and reprieve. And there's this active conversation about the power to choose, but also perhaps the false sense of freedom. So thank you for not falling into the trappings of what I thought this film might be. I was wondering if you could discuss the process of writing this film, and how did the subject find you, or how did you find the subject?
I come from theater. So 8 years ago I'm curious and I saw a book of Sofical, the photographer and visual artist, and the name of the book is Hotel. No, and she was disguised as a chambermaid in Venice, in Italy, and she took photos of absence and trash and the belongings of the guests.
Interesting.
And I was like, wow. And I made a play from Sofical point of view, but I wanted to made it in a real hotel. So when I represented in the real hotel, I was like, the final rehearse, I represented to the real chambermaids.
Okay.
And when I worked with them, I was like, wow, I want to do a film. So for 7 years, I started to, I love documentary also. So I started to follow them. Every place I go, I will follow chambermaids, and in that hotel I went so many times, and they let me in. No one, because I didn't study film. I'm autodidact. So they were really beautiful that they allowed me to be in, and so long time I was in there, and there was something in that place, that verticality, that thing, that it was not only about chambermaids, but something that it was complex. And I found that chambermaid story will contain so much of what is for me Mexico also. The co-writer, Juan Carlos, that I have the pleasure that it's one of my best friends. We started to write, but the one that it was in contact with them obviously was me. And because I have that thing that it's funny sometimes and that feminine point of view, when I started more developing the character about Eve, the story come out, and because I don't have a background as a filmmaker, but I wanted so much to be a filmmaker. I was making like exercises, like video. No, I bought the cheapest camera I can, and
you were exploring
I was
story
exploring
visually.
And also because I'm autodidact, I was also editing. So I love so much cinema that I go so much to see films, to theaters. So I needed I needed to film, no? And
yeah.
last year I was, okay, I'm going to do it. Some of the people of the film are half real people, half non-real people, and I wanted to make that mixture. And sometimes because they are my friends, no? And every time I was going, they were like, Lila, when you're going to have the movie?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes! No? And last year I needed to take it out. I knew that I needed to film, and I knew that I need to be in that place because I understand that place. And last year I put all my earnings and I filmed in 17 days with the right people, a very small crew, because I knew that the essence of the film needed to have the essence of to understand the complexity of what it symbolized, the film.
You build a rapport with these people that are working. What was the most important aspect? Why did they want you to tell their story? Is it because of the trade or the profession itself, or did they want to give like I can imagine somebody seeing a film like this and changing their whole rapport with how they interact with the hotel experience?
Like everything in life, everything is complex, and everything has to be with your background, with your family, with your what you are in the day, no? But about the past. And of course, there's something in the story that is really truthful, and me as a director need to cut knife and make it a little bit drier, no? But for me, in that hotel, there's something in that hotel that I love so much. They let me, Lila Aviles, that is, who is she?
Who are you, off the streets? Like, yeah.
And let me in.
Yeah.
I know that hotel from the top. I know who is the principal of the hotel, from the lobby, from the laundry. I know a lot of people, and they are good people. And that's the story of my movie, because of course it's exploitation. Of course it's about the rich and the poor. But life is more about that simple thing. It's about human beings.
Yeah.
And the rich has that thing that it's beautiful, and the poor has also that thing that it's beautiful, and the poor has that also thing that it's not so beautiful, that it's darker, and the rich has also that thing. And it's that equilibrium that makes us the human beings. So of course the film has that simpleness, but it's complex.
It very much is.
It's like a tree. It's up, down, the
sprawled out.
But of course, I think that, and we're going to the people is going to see the film, and of course. With some of them, they love the Jennifer Lopez film that she's a chambermaid, because it's our background. They love soap operas. They want to see that soap opera that, no?
Yeah.
They are all happy. And of course, life is not about that. And there's so much of the people that I filmed that I needed to take out because of edition. And I want to do a small making of or something for them next year, that for them to they will see them. And I think it's going to be a little bit complex to see, but I think they will like.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I love films about professions. The Dardenne brothers are really good at
Yes,
at
I love
showing
the Dardenne. Yes.
showing you, you know, how to cut a piece of wood. They'll actually go through that, and that's what I appreciate about your film is like there's this complex system of you know, all these clandestine almost existences. There's a cafeteria just for staff. There's people that are doing side hustling as they're working. They have like they're selling on top of working, and yeah, it's very much the social dynamics even in that is really exquisite, and that dog eats dog type world is also interesting. How you go back to this elevator sequence. At first, it's not, you know, it just feels as if it's one part of the building, but I think if you explore the idea of the elevator, there's a lot more to it, and it reminded me of being stuck in a mousetrap. You think you're going somewhere, but essentially you're not going anywhere. How did you think out that scene that repeats itself, but then you mute it, you play with the sound, you play with the position? What did the elevator symbolize for you?
Yes, you catch it.
Yeah.
Because I was so long going to that hotel, I was a little bit heavy. No, and yes, and yes, for me, all the film, it's metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that kind of woman, metaphoric woman, and going up, going down.
Because essentially, your central character, even though she moves one step forward, she also moves several steps backwards, and it's this ongoing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's. I film in 17 days only. It was, for me, this film was like a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was like so involved in those 7 years, no, and I knew what sound. Even all the movie doesn't have music.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that this sound and all the sounds are original.
Mm-hmm.
And I have. I love that I work with Guido Berenblum, that it's that sound designer of Lucrecia Martel, that for me Lucrecia is she's the
god among filmmakers.
filmmaker.
Yeah.
I love the Ciénaga with all my heart, and when I filmed, obviously from the script I had a sound script. And when you watch the movie, you're like, no, you don't catch it, but everything has a special sound with the machine and the blah, 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 no? And I knew that those spaces and the film, I wanted to be filmed in that particular hotel, in that particular space, because the elevator, that things that symbolize for the hotel, but also for me as a director. And it was so funny that, for example, Guido Berenblum, the sound designer, and his colleague Gerardo Calmar, that I'm so happy that I work with them. They were like, Lila, but it can be other sound. I returned to the hotel 3 days only, not to shoot, but for sound. I have all the catalog machines, sounds, air conditioners, And it was a great pleasure. Thomas, the sound record that was with me, and we were like, oh, this is so sound, this machine, and we were like, oh, great. 3 hours with that machine. But he was like returning to Guido Berenblum. They were Gerardo and he telling me, change that other sound, Lila, calm down. And I was like, no, it need to be that sound, no? And
about the juxtaposition of private thoughts, inner thoughts, and private spaces. I mean, hotel rooms, there's something super alienating about hotel rooms. It's such a weird space, but it's also very intimate and private. Yes. And your characters keep on going in and out of spaces that are part of those worlds. But I thought it was an interesting thing, that juxtaposition about her private thoughts and also these private spaces. Perhaps if you can just discuss that juxtaposition.
You understand it very well. When I was so involved with this story, I knew that a hotel, not only chambermaids, but a hotel is that space that it's between people, that it's from all around the world, that every time it could be a new story, but no matter it's that story indeed, and then it's clean and there's
a new chapter. Yeah, it keeps
on. It's
revolving and renewing itself.
Yes. Yeah. And the woman that it's in that in
part
that
of those
process,
stories,
no, it's chambermaid, and they are the captains of that story and that other story and that other story that has been there. No, that energy has been there, and like life, no.
It feels like a film that's continually moving. We almost forget when day starts, when night begins. We're mixed up actually. And what I like about the character in that profession is that her moments of reprieve are snapped into these moments of rapidity. You know, she has to, the way she speaks into the CB, it's muy rapido. It's executed with such quickness, and I thought that was such an interesting parallel between a slowness and like a quickness.
I come from a mother that is obsessed with cleanness.
Okay.
Not clean. There's a difference. And I hate it so much. I was like, but then we start to, Lila, me.
Yeah.
You get older and everything is more complex, and you understand some. And you understand that every person is a world, and for her it was her meditation. And also it's that thing that when you do that thing, you need to be good and to be a samurai when it's needed, and to be quick and to be to understand that little spot.
Tupperware, there's like 100 uses for Tupperware. Tupperware preserves things, it keeps things warm, it keeps things cold, but it's great for sealing and containing things. And this is very much a film about
container.
Containing your emotions too. And
actually I found the hotel like a container of everything I wanted to speak. And it was there.
It's a great
actually
symbolic use of something that we take for granted.
Yes, the editor, he's so particular.
It's funny.
And he's a director also.
It's-
a great director.
It's funny the relationships of directors with their DPs, but also their editors. It's sometimes you have strong rapport with the editor in carving out the film.
And I enjoy so much the edition with him. We were like.
Yeah, sometimes you find your film with the editors. I'll end with this question. Actually, the clash of red and white in this film. It's very violent. It's very peculiar. You see this in not one but two scenes. I was wondering if you can talk about those colors and how they're sort of like they're bedfellows. They belong together, but in another world it's very violent and they shouldn't belong together.
It's funny because it's a container. My film is a container.
Uh-huh.
Everything is there for me as a symbolism and also for my life because all the bags are from my friends, my family. All the things that are in there represent also stories. So it's philosophical symbolism and material symbolism. So
seen this on the film festival circuit, but Kino bought this film this month.
And we have good
November,
news.
yeah. So that's
good news for March.
Okay.
We cannot say, but we're so happy.
We're gonna guess for it. Gracias. Thank you so much. Like this.